Welcome everyone to the presentation on Jubilee 2025, Pilgrims of Hope. I just see this theme, like what a gift the Pope has given us in inviting us to be pilgrims of hope in our world today. There's so much need for the message of the gospel in the world. There's so much need for people to have hope and to see something bigger than themselves. I think that's what our hope and our faith is. It provides us that something bigger than ourselves. And I think the despair and depression and the challenges in the world that people experience lots of time is because they don't have hope. So Sister Lise is going to talk about the Jubilee today and present some of the theme. She's going to present the theme and talk about the theme. She's going to talk about the Jubilee song. She's going to talk about the symbol. There's so many things that have come out from Rome that she's pulled together for you. So we are looking forward to this. And then starting on the first Wednesday after Ash Wednesday, so the 21st, for 5 sessions, she is going to look at prayer, which is the theme for this year. The Pope has asked us last year to look at the encyclicals of Vatican II, and this year to particularly look at the theme of prayer. So Sister Lise is going to provide a program during the Lent looking at prayer. So you're welcome to join that on Zoom or in person. So welcome everyone. We're very glad that you're able to be here.
Thank you, Lise.
Sister Lise, who taught me in grade 10.
She did a good grade 10, didn't she?
Yes.
Since I'm a teacher, I always have to have a pen in my hand. Right. So thank you very much, Christine, and for the encouragement to do this, and thank you all for coming. For you people online, we're actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people who are in the room here. So joining you. So we can see you on the side of the screen here. So I'm going to begin. The weather is not great, but we are Saskatchewan people, so they dared to come out, because that's who we are. And some who arrived said it's a great day. There's snow, there's fresh air. So
it looks like winter.
It looks like winter, that's what it is. So we're going to begin with I'm going to try and keep within the hour. And here in the room, you tell me if you don't hear me well enough, I'll have to just speak a little bit louder. So the Jubilee has been an event of a great spiritual and church and social significance in the life of the church. And the very first year that it was 1300, it's been going on since 1300, when Boniface VIII instituted the first Holy Year. Now, at the beginning, the Holy Years came every 100 years. Then it came at every 50 years. Now it's every 25 years. And there was even a special one in 2015. So a Jubilee usually lasts a year and a few days. And it usually begins before the Christian Christmas, and it ends in Epiphany the following year. We should know, I was trying to find somewhere, I think it's in May that the Pope will really announce the official beginning date. So it's our people, we've experienced the celebration of the Holy Year as a special gift. It's really a special gift of grace, and it's characterized by the forgiveness of sins. And we speak about the forgiveness of sins and a plenary indulgence during the Holy Year, which is the remission of sins for ourselves, for our deceased relatives, and it's a full expression of the mercy of God. I think that's where we want to go, it's the full expression of the mercy of God. And that's what we experience. So the great Jubilee of the year of 2000 really brought the church into the third millennium. of our history. Now, as the first 25 years of the new century draws to a close, we are called to enter into a season of preparation that can enable us to experience the Holy Year in all its richness. As Christine said a minute ago, 2023, the church was asked to review the documents of Vatican II. 2024, I'll speak about it a little bit later, what we are asked to do. So as a significant step on this journey, we've already taken with the celebration of the extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy. Did you remember that?
That's when we had everything with the church doors open.
No, not that one, the
No.
2015. In
Oh.
2015, I sort of knew and I'd forgotten. In 2015, there was an extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy in 2015, which allowed us to appreciate anew all the power and the tenderness of the Father's merciful love. So in the last 2 years, we know that we've experienced a lot of difference in our society. So in the last 2 years, not one single country was unaffected by suffering of impacts of war. We had the COVID. And so we experienced as a society, as a world, that our churches were closed. Remember when the Pope walked up and he was alone on the big La Place Saint-Pierre at St. Peter's Square? He was alone walking up those steps. So we all experienced that our schools were closed, our churches were closed, our factories were closed, our offices, our shops, our venues for recreation, they were closed. So all of us really experienced a certain curtailment in our freedom, and especially the feeling of grief and the feeling of aloneness and the death of many people because of loneliness and being alone. So we're fully confident that we are returning into a relational and a pattern of life where we do have personal relationships, and we need personal relationships. That's how God created us. We are not created to live alone. There are hermits, yes, there's a few, and yet they're not alone. So we must fan that flame of hope that has been given us and help everyone to gain new strength. And we look around us, there is a new life that's budding, and that there's a new strength that is there. And looking to the future with an open spirit and a trusting heart. And so the forthcoming Jubilee can contribute greatly to restoring that climate, to restore the climate of hope and the climate of trust, so that we can continue our journey. And that's why Pope Francis's motto for the Jubilee is Pilgrims of Hope. So we are entrusted with that responsibility for finding a suitable ways to prepare for the Holy Year and to live the Holy Year. So we will see how we can do this. And the Blessed Virgin Mary is to accompany us. She will accompany us and accompany the church on the journey of preparation, for it's a grace-filled event. This is a grace-filled event. The preparation is a grace-filled event, and the year itself, 2025, will be a grace-filled event. And as we know, our Pope Francis always does refer to the Virgin Mary, and so do we. She will, we look to her to journey with us. Now, when there's an event like this in the church, you need the papal bull. And so I've shown you the picture that you have there is really the one of 1300. And it's Gregory, what did I say? Gregory the, I did write it here to be sure. Boniface the 8th. So So you need the traditional bull. On one side, you see, so it's a publication, the papal bull it dictates each Jubilee is proclaimed through the publication of a papal bull of indiction, they call it. It's an official document, and it's generally written in Latin. So in the past, the seal was made of lead. In the front image, which you see there, is the two apostles, Peter and Paul. So Peter and Paul, the founders of the Church of Rome. And on the back, on the picture that you see there, on the back is the name of the current pontiff. So this year, when the bull comes out, it will be Peter and Paul, but in the back, it will be Francis, Pope Francis. The bull announces the Jubilee, and it indicates the dates of the beginning and the end of the whole year. Now, I did say, I think it's expected on May 9th of 2024, that the dates will be announced. So as we see here, since the 12th century, the papal bull have carried a leaden seal with the heads. And it was Boniface VIII in 1300. This is the one that you see. So today, the bull is the only written document, written communication in which the Pope will refer to himself as the bishop, servant of the servants of God. And that's, it's Episcopus Servus Servorum Dei, will be written in Latin. So that's what Bishop Stephen actually said, that he received a document because when he was named bishop. So they are written documents, and they're important documents. They don't come every day. It's an official document. But the papal bull, which you might hear about coming up sometime. Then there's the official logo of the Jubilee. So when you look at this logo, you see 4 different figures. It shows 4 stylized figures and representing all of humanity. You've got different colors. And it's coming from the 4 corners of the earth. Notice how close they are. They're embracing each other. And that's to indicate the solidarity. We're not alone. Because on the logo, we could have had 1 person, but no, it didn't. 4 different colors coming from the 4 different parts of the world. It's also a sign of the faith which this figure embraces. So you see that the first figure, the one in red, is holding the cross. So the cross, the figure at the front, and it is not only the sign of the faith which this lead figure embraces, but it's also a sign of hope. Because we're always in need of hope, especially in moments of greatest need. If you think of yourself right now, what is your greatest need? It's probably something that pops up in your head. Usually the first thing that pops in your head is what is your greatest need. And so your greatest need is led by the cross, but the cross that leads to hope. Now notice that under the 4 figures, there are rough waves. There are waves there. It symbolizes the fact that life's pilgrimage does not always go smoothly. I think I saw some eyebrows go, yeah. Life doesn't go smoothly in calm waters. And then pay attention here. Look at the cross, how it continues into the waters. And what does it become? An anchor. It becomes an anchor. And the symbol, the anchor, is a symbol of hope. I'm sure we've all seen this when they want to put a symbol for hope the anchor, and especially in the Maritimes. Now, in the maritime jargon, is the anchor of hope refers to the reserve anchor that is used by vessels involved in emergency maneuvers to stabilize the ship during a storm. So you see how that goes with us. The anchor of hope helps to stabilize us in the storms that we have to live. We all live many storms. I don't think anybody can put their hand up and say, I got my life has just been great, right from the beginning to where I'm at now. So we live the storms. Now, the image too is it's worth noting that the pilgrim's journey is not as an individual, like I said, but it's a group. We're journeying together. It's a community. How to build community and how to rebuild community after COVID is something to think on. We didn't have to think of how to build community. We were living it. I think many of us here and many of you online come from these smaller communities where you just always met people down the street. You went to the mailbox, you went to the store, community was there, church was there. Today, we have to rethink how can we live community, and we can. We are doing it. So, and you see the symbol always leads to the cross. So the cross is in the logo is by no means static. That cross, notice that the cross bends. It's bending towards humanity. So it's not just static, it's dynamic. It bends towards humanity. And it's offering us a certainty of the presence and the security of hope. And underneath you have what Pope Francis's motto, the motto for the Jubilee, Pilgrims of Hope. And it's in green letters. We often refer to green for hope. So we're in 2024, and the year 2024 is dedicated to prayer. Pope Francis has proposed that 2024 should stimulate prayer with simplicity and in accordance with Christ's heart. So in this time of preparation, we will devote our year of 2024 to prayer. Many of you have seen this book. You've heard about it online as well. Debbie has them in the library. If you want to purchase them, they're very, very well done. But this is what we're going to do in the next sessions. In the next sessions, we will look at prayer, and it's this workbook is very, very well done, helping us to do Lectio Divina, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. So we're going to see what is prayer before you pray, Lectio Divina, relational prayer, discernment in prayer, and how do you deal with distractions? Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, and then desolation and consolation. So quite a journey in prayer. And the author gives us many ways of praying and dealing with our distractions. So the Pope has said, prayer above all else, to renew our desire to be in the presence of the Lord, to listen, to adore. He really encourages adoration. And then prayer to thank God. Thank God for the many gifts that we have. Does it help you when you wake up in the morning and say, thank you for this day? Does it help? And then 3 minutes later again, thank you. Otherwise, we do get very distressed. There's enough in life right now to distress, and you listen, you turn the TV on and you get the news. Sometimes you're better to turn it off. Pray for what is happening in our world and pray for each other. And so thank God for the gifts that we have. Then he says, prayer as the expression of a single heart and soul. And this solidarity that we live and that we want to live. Then he says, prayer that makes it possible for every person in this world to turn to the one God and to reveal to him what lies hidden in the depths of your soul. What's hidden inside, in your heart, in your soul? Can you share it with anyone? Can you share it with everyone? Is it easy to share? Even with your best friend, even with your spouse, even with, sometimes you try and really share what's happening inside and you just can't even do it. Sometimes there are no words, but God knows. And that's where we can go. Turn to God to reveal to him what lies hidden in your heart. Sometimes you say, no, it's better that I hide this, or it's better that I'm quiet about it. But speak to God about it. And sometimes we can't speak. But in the silence of our heart, there's something being said and there's something happening. Some people like to sit down and start writing. Sometimes the writing helps to lessen the load. Because the load at times gets very heavy. Then he says, prayer as the royal road to holiness, which enables us to be contemplative in the midst of activity. When I sit before you here and you people online, we are contemplative people. Does that mean that you have to be hands here folded and saying a Hail Mary or an Our Father or? Marie Riviere, our founders, used to say, offer everything. In the morning I get up, I say, thank you, Lord, and I offer this day. The rest of your day, you've got to be working. If Father Morris gets up and he says, I'm going to pray, the work won't get done. But our life is prayer, and our prayer is life. I remember as a young nun, I thought, that's right, because we're in the classroom, we're doing things. But our life is prayer. It's in God and for its greater glory. Nobody else will come into our work. I remember hearing my mother, who's making food for 12 kids plus, and I hear her in the kitchen saying, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, Jesus, Mary, Joseph. I thought, oh, much years later, I thought, gee, she was praying all the time. I'm sure you've heard, and we've seen, we don't, or someone standing there, their rosary in their hand. So prayer goes on. I don't, let's not get discouraged. And we're going to look at that as we go through with this prayer, these sessions on prayer. Let's not make it complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. Our life today, we've made it quite complicated in different ways. I think you must hear it. I often hear it. It used to be so simple. Life was simple. So let's take what we can, make it as simple as we can. So prayer, like you said, prayer is the royal road to holiness. That's another thing we'll look at. What's being holy anyway? What is it? Sometimes a word that comes up, we say, what is holy is being perfect. What's being perfect?
See the pure heart.
Pure of heart. Someone said here, a pure of heart, but perfect, we can get stuck in that. Let's be careful. Because when it's perfect, it's got every little iota has to be exactly right. What's perfection? What's holiness? I think as we sit in prayer and in God, we get to know my weaknesses. What does St. Paul say? In my weakness is my strength. I am weak. Francis, the secretary here, a minute ago, she said, I'm just not good at being creative and setting up stuff. And I said, me neither. I used to have someone with me and she'd place everything and with nice and pretty. Huh? So I said, we don't have all the gifts. One person does not have all the gifts. And the gifts that we have, let's use them. And it doesn't have to be complicated. So as prayer happens, the holiness is really to become where God is calling me to be, who I am. I don't have to be someone else. But let myself discover who I am. Because are you a mystery to yourself? I am. There again, you know, these people in our lives who marked us. This Father Bissio, who was a professor at university, he'd say, Sister Lise, you're a mystery. Don't forget it. Don't forget that. Because if you're not a mystery, you're a problem. Right? Because if we start looking at our lives and we got to figure it out, because if we have to figure it out, it's a problem. Remember at school, what's 2 + 2, 4 or 3? So life is a mystery. We are, each one of us, a mystery. And that's where it leads us to holiness. So Pope Francis says, in a word, may it be an intense year of prayer in which hearts are open to receive the outpouring of God's grace. So the year of prayer is an open heart to receive. We give to receive. To receive God's grace and to make the Our Father the prayer Jesus taught us, the life program of each of his disciples. So I think he's inviting us to really come in touch with, especially the prayer of the Our Father. So an intense year of prayer. I didn't write it on, I will give you a handout as you go. So you have something to go back on. And I forgot to put it on my handout. There are 100 and some pages. The Pope, from the year May 6, 2020, if you go to the website of the Vatican website, there are all his homilies or his conferences of the general audience, and they're all on prayer. 100 and some pages. So it starts, if you go to the Vatican website, prayer on May of 2020, and it goes right up to June 2021. And what's really great is when the Pope gives an audience, it's not long. And at the end of each audience, he's got a summary. There's a summary. So I actually printed them out for myself, but just go to the Vatican website and to the Pope's audience of 2020 and up to, and you'll see that they're all what he gave at each audience from May 2020 to June 2021. Great, beautiful spiritual reading that you can have.
Is it in Latin or?
No, in English or French or whichever language you want.
Just choose your language.
Yeah, you choose. when you go to the website, choose the language that you want.
Another good resource that I found
Yeah,
is Father Ron Rolheiser's book on prayer.
that's right.
It's just a little booklet,
Mhm.
but boy, that first paragraph sure talks about how prayer and our busy lives
Oh, yeah.
really talks about those two things.
Okay, Don,
So well done.
Don Moon just mentioned another good resource, which we'll come back on that when we go into the prayer thing, but Ron Rolheiser, and it's a small book, and it's prayer. It is really fantastic. It's a good resource, and we'll at one point what we'll do too is what resources you have. We can put it together and so that other people can share. What I'm going to do right now is pray with you the Jubilee prayer. This is the prayer. So I'll invite the people in the room, and you people online, you'll be joining us. It's okay. It's better that you're muted because we end up not being together. So the people in the room here will join me as we've just been saying that 2024 is a year of prayer. And this is the prayer that the Pope has put out for the Jubilee year. So let's pray together, and it'll continue. I have 4 slides on that. Father in heaven, may the faith you have given us in your Son, Jesus Christ, our brother, and the flame of charity kindled in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, reawaken in us the blessed hope for the coming of your kingdom. May your grace transform us into tireless cultivators of the seeds of the gospel. May those seeds transform from within both humanity and the whole cosmos in a sure expectation of a new heaven and a new earth, when with the powers of evil vanquished, your glory will shine eternally. May the grace of the Jubilee reawaken in us pilgrims of hope, a yearning for the treasures of heaven. Amen. Amen. And in your handout, you'll be receiving that prayer. Oh, well, let's continue. May that same grace spread the joy and peace of our Redeemer throughout the earth. To you, our God, eternally blessed, be glory and praise forever. Amen. Nice, hey? It's great when we can really. Now, what we're going to go into now is the Holy Doors. So the Holy Doors is something very specific to the Jubilee year. So many people go on pilgrimage during the Holy Year. In a few minutes, Father Morris will come and speak about the pilgrimage that he and Bishop Stephen are going to go on. So during a pilgrimage, many pilgrims, thousands of pilgrims, pass through the Holy Door and venerate the relics of the apostles Peter and Paul, preserved in the Roman basilicas. So down the centuries, millions have gone through those Holy Doors. And the most exciting and well-known rite is the opening of the Holy Door. The gate is open only during the Jubilee year, and there are 4 main basilicas. Now, I discovered, because Father Morris had me discover, there are 4 main basilicas, and the 4 main ones, I'll just go through them. But Pope John Paul II added 3 more. And so with St. Peter's is the most important one. In the Vatican State, the largest in the world, and is the seat of the main manifestations of our Catholic worship. We know that's St. Peter's. That's our pleasure and our hope to go there. How many of you have been there in the room here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And many of you online, some of you online have been, I'm sure, to Rome and St. Peter's. The other one is John Latran. St. John Latran is the cathedral of the Diocese of Rome. That's where it's the bishop's house. It's really the Pope Francis.
It's the Pope's cathedral.
Yeah, it's the Pope's cathedral, is John Latran. And they have the Diocese of Rome, and is the oldest and the most important basilica in the West. St. Paul outside the walls. It is known as the Basilica of Ostiense from the name of the neighborhood where it is located, the largest Roman basilica after St. Peter's in the Vatican. It's beautiful. Is that the one where you have the popes? When you go into, you've got the popes on all of the popes right from the beginning. St. Mary Major, our Pope Francis, I think it seems he goes there every time he leaves, before he leaves on a trip.
Before and after.
Before and after, yes, and that's where he's going to be buried. It is also known as the Liberian Basilica and is the only basilica in Rome to have preserved the primitive early Christian structure. And like you said, I thought he was the only one to be buried there, but I think I read somewhere that there's at least 7 popes that have been buried at St. Mary Major.
There's also relics of the manger.
Okay, and relics of the manger at St. Mary Major. Now I'm going to invite Father Morris to come and speak to us. And I'll just go back. I think I can go back. I wanted to. Anyway, I'll leave this. It's black, but that's okay. Father, can we see Father Morris? Yes. We'll see. Yes. Yeah. So Father Morris is going to come and share a bit about what they're preparing their trip to for the Jubilee.
Good afternoon, everyone. So Bishop Stephen and myself would like to invite you to join us.
Hey, Father, how come we can't see you?
Can't see me?
Just a minute.
Okay.
There. Now I can see
Now you can see me? Okay.
Yeah.
So good afternoon, everyone. So Bishop Stephen and I would like to invite you to join us for a pilgrimage to Rome and to Assisi from December the 10th to December the 18th in 2025. It's towards the end of the Holy Year. The Holy Year will end with Epiphany of 2026. The reason why, you're probably wondering, why did he choose December? But for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's about $600 cheaper than if we went in September. The weather will still be pretty nice. It will still be between 15 and 20 degrees as I was watching this December. Also, as you know, I love Christmas. The Christmas markets will be all out. Rome will be all full of lights, and the big nativity at the Vatican will be opened on I think December the 8th is when they actually unveil it, as well as nativities in all the churches of Rome, which will be beautiful. The trip, so if you're wondering on the cost, it's about $5,400, which includes your airfare, your transportation from PA to Saskatoon, then flights from Saskatoon, Toronto, Rome, return, as well as all the breakfasts, as well as 1 lunch and 3 dinners. So it's got a lot of the plus the touring around. So I'll just run through the itinerary with you so you have an idea of what we're going to be doing. So we leave on the 10th, which is a Wednesday. That's the flight to Rome, arriving probably around noon on Thursday, checking into the hotel, and that evening there'll be a welcome dinner. The next day we will be visiting, we'll begin our pilgrimage to the 7 different churches. We'll be celebrating Mass every day in one of the basilicas or one of the churches. We start with the Basilica of St. John Lateran, which, as Sister Louise mentioned, is the Pope's Cathedral. Just near I think it's just attached actually near St. John Lateran is the Scala Sancta, and it's the holy stairs that tradition says that Christ climbed when he appeared before Pontius Pilate, and it was brought to Rome by Helena, who was Constantine's mother. So that is right near St. John Lateran. In the afternoon, we will then go to Mary Major, as Sister mentioned, is the church that the Pope prays every time he leaves and comes back from a pilgrimage. We will celebrate Mass at Mary Major that day, not at John Lateran, but at Mary Major. And then the afternoon, then after the Mass, we return to the hotel, and then we have a free evening. Breakfast is included that day. On the Saturday, we venture out to just the outer limits of Rome. We go to the city limits. We visit St. Lawrence outside the walls. built over the shrine of St. Lawrence, one of the martyrs of the church, one of the earliest martyrs of the church, in fact. Then we will go to St. Paul outside the walls, and we will see where the chains of St. Paul, as well as where he is buried, his tomb. That afternoon, then we'll have lunch, and then we will go to another church, St. Sebastian, outside the walls. And there, after the Mass, we will actually go down into the catacombs to see some of the earliest catacombs of the early Christians and the martyrs of the church. Then again, we have some free time that evening, and breakfast is included on the Saturday. The Sunday, which will be this will be really nice. That'll be Rejoice Sunday, the third Sunday of Advent. So we will celebrate Mass that morning at the Shrine of the Divine Mercy. Then we will walk over to St. Peter's. Apparently, it's not too far from St. Peter's Basilica. So on the third Sunday of Advent, a tradition that was started by Pope John Paul II was Bombonelli Sunday. So that is where the Pope invites families from across Rome, especially the children, to bring their baby Jesus from their nativity, and he blesses the baby Jesus. So we're going to ask people to make sure to bring your baby Jesus with you if you're coming, because it's going to be a special Sunday. So we will bring our little baby Jesus and have the Pope bless after the Angelus, and the special blessing that he will give to everyone that day. That afternoon, we will go visit the Shrine of Our Lady of Divine Love, and that's one that was added by John Paul in the year 2000 to the 7 pilgrim churches of the Holy Year. Again, breakfast will be included. Then we'll have free time again in the evening to see the sights of Rome. Monday, we will get up really, really, really early because we're driving to Assisi. So that's about 2-hour drive, an hour and a half or 2-hour drive from north of Rome. We will spend the day in Assisi, which is a marvelous place. Assisi is one of my favorite places in the world, actually. You can still feel the spirit of St. Francis there. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place. We'll get to probably see there's different churches. Francis and Claire are buried there in the Basilica, I believe. Claire's in a different church. There's also the big crucifix, the Franciscan crucifix that Jesus spoke to Francis about rebuilding his church. So we get a chance to see that. We will visit the Basilica St. Mary of the Angels, and Francis is in the crypt in the basement of that church. We will pause at the chapel where the rose bush was, where he threw himself into the rose bush, and the cave that St. Francis prayed at. We're also going to go to the church. It's called Santa Maria degli Angeli. It's where the little church, the little chapel that
Supports the Angela inside.
it's inside the big church. That's right. And so it's the church that Francis was asked to rebuild my church. So he was rebuilding this little chapel. So it's within a bigger church. I haven't had a chance to see that. When we went to World Youth Day, it was closed at that particular time, so we didn't get a chance to go. So hopefully this time we'll get a chance to see it. So after lunch, we'll probably have some free time, and then we're going to visit the whole Basilica of St. Francis, and we will see a lot of the frescoes and St. Francis's possessions. We'll celebrate Mass in that Basilica in the afternoon, and then return to Rome for a late dinner at the hotel. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included on day number 6. Day number 7, we will go to the Vatican. So the morning we will go to the Vatican Museums and the Sistine Chapel. All of this is included in the cost. We'll spend quite a bit of time there because it takes a while to get through the museums and the Sistine Chapel. We will end that visit with a visit to St. Peter's Basilica, and people will have time to just walk around and to see the inside of the Basilica. I'm hoping to get to the top to go into the dome. I always wanted to go, so this might be my chance. Later that afternoon, we're going to visit the Basilica of the Holy Cross in Jerusalem, and that's where a lot of the relics that Helena brought back from the Holy Land are displayed in that basilica. And it's again one of the 7 pilgrimage churches. Breakfast is included again on the Tuesday. The Wednesday is the day that the Pope usually has his audience. And so early in the morning, we're going to go to the weekly papal audience at the Paul VI Audience Hall, I believe is where we will be going for that. The afternoon will be free to do whatever we would like. So there's a lot of free time built into this. Breakfast and dinner are included as that last day we have a farewell dinner. So with Collect Vacations, we always have a welcome dinner and a farewell dinner. That's always a little more special. And on day 9, which is December 18th, that's when our spiritual journey to Rome comes to, and Assisi comes to a close. So we will be heading to the airport to return home. Hopefully we get good flights coming back. Our last flight, we did Milan, Montreal, Vancouver, Saskatoon. So depends what Air Canada throws at us. So we'll see what happens, but we have to go with what they're offering us. So we've got 88 seats that are set aside for us. So we've got 30 people already booked. So we're hoping to fill the first bus so we can start filling the second bus. We're hoping to get a lot of people from the diocese, and I think it'll be a wonderful time to celebrate the Jubilee with our bishop, and hoping to see some of you there with us on the group.
Thank you. Thank you, Father Morris. He keeps saying, "Are you coming?" But I'm not sure. I was there for the last Holy
2015.
Yeah, 2015. But we'll see. Okay, pray for each other that who is invited to go and who can go, and it's a gift. It is. It's quite the gift to go to our roots of our faith.
If you would like a brochure after, I can photocopy some and give you some like more information.
Okay, and on the website, the diocesan website, or somewhere to get a hold of Father Morris's phone number, that diocesan center here.
I'll even give you my cell number.
He said he'll even give his cell number out for anybody interested. Okay.
Fill that box.
Okay. So now that you've heard all of this, we're going to go into listening to the hymn that was composed for the Holy Year. What's good to remember is that our sacred scriptures that we have, they're steeped in song. They're steeped in the Psalms. We have how many Psalms and the Old Testament? All of that was meant to be sung. So it's our scriptures are steeped, like we say, in song. The prayers of the people of Israel were written to be sung. And that's where we get our liturgy from. At times we can't sing it, but we do our best. But there's always a music song. Music is very healing. Music calls out of us parts of us that we don't even know of. And so we often go to music when we're sad, when we're happy, when we're celebrating, when we're crying, when we're in grief, we go to music. And when we're happy and we're celebrating, we also go. So we're going to listen to the Jubilee song.
Please turn up the volume on your computer, sister.
Sorry. It's because I was asked to bring up the sound, but I'm not sure where to go. Sorry, I'm going to try again. If I can see this little. That better? Just sing along. Sorry if you couldn't hear it, there are people online. So we come to towards the end of our presentation this afternoon. I'm hoping to have a little bit of time for sharing. We'll see for our next gathering if it'll go to 1:10 right now. So the sharing, how can we fan the flame of hope and make it real, concrete and tangible? How can we make this hope real? And how can we bring a contribution of hope? Just those two questions, a contribution of hope for a more humane world, a transmission from generation to generation of the living tradition of our faith. We have a very rich tradition. We have a tradition. And we live our tradition in a certain way. Every culture lives it a little differently, but it's the same faith. And it's the same hope. So let's have 5 minutes, 7 minutes of sharing. You could turn 3 minutes. So we're grateful to have the bishop to come to our meeting and lead us here today.
Sister. Hello, everybody. And here, how's everybody? Good. We've got a nice mixture of folks here. Yeah, that's good. So you had a good session today?
Even a trip has been announced.
Oh, I see. Oh, Father Moore, I see.
Vacation director.
Our vacation director is working hard. We're filling one bus. We're hoping to fill 2 buses from the diocese, and already you must have told everybody.
Yeah.
There's 30 so far, and there's people all the way up from like Meadow Lake and the Battlefords and to the PA area. So this is great. So Edmonton, we've got 4 from Edmonton. So that's awesome. That's great.
So we just wanted to say to you that we're trying to support the bishop, our bishop,
Thank you. That's
living out, because we have a responsibility as well for the Jubilee, as preparing for the Jubilee. So
it's awesome. And
sharing that with you.
thank you very much for your prayers and to support the idea of a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
That's-
So the pilgrimage and so the preparation.
Yeah, it's a great spiritual thing in the church every 25 years or so, and sometimes the Holy Father has extraordinary jubilees where he like special years, and the year 2000 was a big, like 2000 years of Christianity, so that was we marked that in a really 3 years of big preparation all around. It was wonderful. I was a seminarian in Rome at the time, and those couple of years leading up to the year 2000. And so the city was all cleaned up, and all the marble was cleaned, and pilgrims. And then when the Jubilee happened, every day that year there were like special gatherings at St. Peter's. You could hear the Litany of the Saints being sung from where we were living, and there was just this procession every day. And so year 2025 might be not such a big thing, but it's a great time of grace and celebration. And so to make some efforts, to take a few years to save some money and to prepare to go there and visit all these very important places. The apostles are buried, where Peter and Paul, and it's just I've been there. I lived there for 5 years, but I'm excited to go and just spend time just praying. That'd be good, and visiting with people. Yeah.
So we will be working with this prayer, a guide to Catholic prayer. So that'll be our
Okay.
next.
Okay. So you're all for this group?
Yes,
Oh my
the group
goodness.
and the group
Oh,
online.
that's wonderful. Yeah. We used to use this program with seminarians, the Oremus program, for the new guys to kind of learn about, to build up a habit of Ignatian prayer. So I think you'll be, if you're doing this, it's easy to use and a beautiful way to really spend some more time in prayer. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
I
Sister
caught him by
Louise. Yeah.
surprise, but it was a nice
That's
surprise,
okay.
eh?
Thank you. Well, thanks. Keep praying, eh? Keep praying. We need. Awesome. Thanks, Sister
Okay,
Louise. Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
So we will,
Sister, what are the dates for the upcoming sessions?
okay, the dates for the upcoming sessions, Christine is better at, it's
Yes,
online,
so
but, okay.
the prayer sessions, there are eight sessions in the book. Sister Lise is going to look at 5 of them through Lent, beginning on Wednesday, the 21st. So there's Ash Wednesday, and then Wednesday, the 21st of February, and then 21st, and then 5 sessions forward. I believe it ends on March 20th.
Okay.
And then there'll be 3 more sessions, and we'll see about interest, and we might do it after Easter again, right, sister?
We might, yes, we'll see where. We'll see Right, Christine?
And we're going to, and those sessions, this session was geared for an hour. Those sessions are going to be an hour and a half.
Yeah, just to give us a bit of.
They will be a whole hour and a half.
By the time we come in and say hello and that, it takes a few minutes, so,
Yes,
yeah, thank you.
And the time is 1 till 2:30.
1 till 2:30.
correct.
We're
1 till
gonna-
2:30.
1 o'clock, it's better, much better than for everyone.
And there is a book that goes with it that participants can have. It is available through the Diocesan Resource Center. If you're in person, it's $20. With mail, you can call there and Debbie will mail it to you, and it's $25 because of the cost of mailing.
And Debbie
There's
has. it
no
downstairs.
cost to take part in the program, and you can journey in the program without the book.
Yeah,
It's nice to have the book, but it's possible to journey without.
Do we
Okay,
register online for that?
you register online, right?
Correct. The registration, you can register online. That is available through the diocesan bulletin announcements. And if you want to come in person, it's to contact Sister Lise at her desk.
If you're coming in person, just contact me for let me know. If you're online, then you go through the diocesan link for the link.
There is a link for that.
Yes,
Otherwise you can't register yourself.
no. So if you're coming in person, just, that's why I took your names, and if there's a change, I've got a way to contact you, somehow to contact you. Those online, they've gone through, Christine there through the evangelization. Yeah. Yeah, I do try and remind, because there's so many things that happen that it's easy to forget. Yeah. So thank you, and thank you everyone online here. It's great to see you. Great, nice to have you there, and for your sharing as well. So we're going to leave. Okay, thank you, Nicole, all your work backstage there. And see you next week. No, the week after.
No, the 21st, yeah, the week after, 2 weeks from today.
Yes.
2 weeks from today.